which came out last night, you can still view pages which were designed for Firefox 1. If you've got Internet Explorer, what are they on now, 12? 13? Who cares? If you've got Internet Explorer, you can still see those rubbish. Do you remember those pages that you put up on like GeoCities and made with front page? Yeah, they were rubbish, but they are still viewable in modern web browsers. And even better than that, as well as being backwards compatible, most web browsers are future compatible as well, which means if you have Internet Explorer 6, you can go and look at modern web pages. You can go to Amazon or Yahoo or Google or anything, and they will work. I mean, they won't be brilliant, and maybe they don't have all the JavaScript or the visual effects, but even if you've got an old browser, even if your phone, even if your BlackBerry hasn't been upgraded since 2001, you'll still be able to get something of a web experience. Might not be the perfect one, but you'll get something. As opposed to trying to run apps where it will just change so much between versions, you're out of luck. Now, it's not always been easy. What I'm talking about is the ideal, the perfect. And in reality, the world doesn't work like that. We all remember this? Ooh. Is there anyone from Microsoft in today? Okay, we're fine, guys, we're fine. Best viewed with Internet Explorer. That's the worst thing in the world. But it would be just as bad. What we start to see today is people saying, best viewed with Google Chrome, nightly, 64-bit, but only on Mac. And it's like, that's not the web. You know, that's, you're writing an app for Google Chrome, or we've got these cool 3D transformations, but they only work in Safari. I was like, why? I can understand at the start you want to say, okay, well, let's try this out, let's see if it works. But if you're writing something for the web and you turn people away because, oh, we don't support Firefox, or, oh, you know what, we've only tested this in Internet Explorer, you've got Opera, that's not right. I mean, it's simply not right. Why are you discriminating against people? Let's take a quick show. We're going to do 2 quick shows of hands because I like doing this. Put your hands up if primarily on your laptop or desktop you're a Windows user. Okay, and if you're a Mac user. Linux. Yeah, represent. I don't know what else is left. OpenBSD. Amiga. Anyone left? Chrome OS. Yeah. No. Why? I mean, you've just seen here. Why would you discriminate against such a large chunk of your audience? So this is like saying, I'm only going to build this for iPhone. Hands up if your primary phone is an iPhone. A few. Oh, Apple won't be happy with that. If it's Android, yeah. Windows phone. Oh. So the remainder, I'm guessing, hands up if it's a BlackBerry. Yeah, bless you. We don't have anyone still on Symbian, do we? No. Have I missed out anyone's phone? Firefox. Firefox OS. Firefox OS. It's coming. We'll talk about that in a second. Why would you turn people away? If you build an app just for Symbian, it doesn't work on anything else. If you build a web page, it works everywhere. Why would you turn away 90% of your customers? It just makes no sense to me. So the web is everywhere. I've got a smartwatch. This is, I think this was $60 from China. It's got one game, which is Flappy Bird, or a clone of Flappy Bird. I mean, how would you even begin to write an app for a phone where there's no documentation, it comes out of some dodgy factory in China? You just can't. It's impossible. But what it does have is a web browser, because the manufacturer went, oh yeah, we'll stick a web browser on there, and hey presto, I can get to Google, I can get to Bing if I want. You know, you can go anywhere on your wrist because there's a basic web browser there. Google Glass, I know I'm not the only one with it, but in case you didn't know, as well as being able to take photos and face recognition and all of this nonsense, it's got a web browser in. If someone tweets me, I can click like that, and I can read their web page. Has anyone here written an app for Google Glass? 2, 3, 4. Has anyone here written a web page? Yeah. Great, so great, you now can all write apps for Google Glass without needing to worry about that ridiculous SDK. So we're at an interesting point now. I mean, I have talked about how you get Chrome experiments and you get Firefox experiments, and we're getting to a stage where you are able to do amazing things. I mean, truly incredible things with the web. And it gives you a much more app-like experience. And so I want to talk about just 3 of these. So these are going to be practical examples which you can do now. If you've got your laptops open, you can actually start coding this now. You don't need to download, Xcode over the Wi-Fi. You can just start in Notepad and build these features into your web pages and your web apps right now. So, next slide. This is TalkBox. This is a company that we bought, and they're dedicated to WebRTC. Does anyone here know WebRTC? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. You're all going to hear about it a lot more. WebRTC is real-time communication. It's peer-to-peer comms in your browser. With WebRTC, you can send text messages between browsers. You don't need a central server. You can connect peer-to-peer and send text messages. So that's WhatsApp in the browser. You don't need to download an app, load a web page, you've got WhatsApp. It can also do voice as well. It can do multi-party voice in the browser, which means, that little microphone there is connected into your web browser, and you can now speak to anyone in the world with another web browser using peer-to-peer comms. So that's Skype done in the browser. And finally, it's got video. So I think everyone's phone's got a front-facing camera. The browser can now access that camera and broadcast your video and your voice and your messages to any other phone running a web browser. And it's free. There's no patents or things. You can, with TalkBox, I think you can buy a premium package, but you really don't need to. You can replicate Google Hangouts on your phone's browser. No need for plugins. I know sometimes when you use Google Chrome it says you have to install the Hangouts plugin. No, WebRTC, everything is done in JavaScript. This is what it looks like. I'm not being funny, but that's simple. You could memorize that and type it out, and hey presto. Now, this does require a TalkBox library, which is just a JavaScript blob. You can write your own. There are loads which are open source on GitHub. And it's as simple as getting an API key, saying, I want to connect here, here, and here. You can say, all right, I want to access the camera. I want to apply canvas effects to the camera so you can put silly glasses on, but all done in JavaScript. And works cross-platform and works between desktop and mobile. I know Apple have just announced, hey, you can make a call and it'll come to your phone and then it'll go to your desk. No, just connect to the browser. You don't need to, I know I come from Telefonica and we're a mobile telco. You don't need to use this anymore. You don't need to send text messages. You don't need to make voice calls. You can just do it all via data in, 12 lines of JavaScript. That's the power of the web. So the second thing that I want to talk about, you've got to have kittens. I've been told, got to have kittens in presentation. So here's my kitten. Just everyone just take a moment, just admire the kitten. Shake it, baby! Sorry, I got a bit distracted. My favourite word at the moment is haptic feedback. Yeah, haptic. What does that mean? Vibration. So what you can now do is get your web browser to make the phone vibrate. So why is this useful? Well, let's say that you're Facebook or Yammer and you want to notify people when there's new content. Well, you can sort of flash up a message, but if the phone's in the pocket, they're not going to see it. Or you can just turn on the phone's vibration motor and pulse bzz, 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 in whatever pattern you like. Let's say you're building Angry Birds in the browser. Very easy to do. When the bird hits those bricks, make the phone vibrate. When you're playing a racing game, make the phone vibrate. You can do all sorts of wonderful things. Now, I won't lie to you, this is quite complex to do in the browser. Just calm down. Let me explain this to you. So, navigator.vibrate, that's the call. I think on some early, you can do some other tests just to make sure it supports it. Then you pass the vibrate method an array of numbers. Those numbers are milliseconds. And what we've got here is vibrate for 300 milliseconds, don't vibrate for 200 milliseconds, vibrate for 300 milliseconds.